The Jim and Terry Show. We're not coming to you from an orbiting space station, but that would be a dream, at least my dream. Jim, I don't think, wants to go to space.
Hi, are you there, Terry? Are you there? Yeah, okay, I'm not in space. That was an attempt to be in a,
I wonder what you were trying to do. Okay, we're talking about SpaceX because we haven't got together in the Hobbit Hole studio for a long time, and IFT4 is ready to roll. You think next week?
I think it's ready to roll next week, but it might be 2 weeks from now. It'll be definitely the first half of June.
And will it be a Thursday?
Probably not.
Did you submit your request to Elon?
I should have done that so that we could watch it together, which would be great.
That was awesome. IFT3 we did.
Yeah. And it is an awesome thing. Again, the rocket is so gigantic. I wish they'd paint a family on the side, so you could
like
just...
little stickers that you put on the back of cars. Family inside.
I wish they'd just put them across. You'd be blown away at the size of this thing, folks. Yeah. Blown away. You take a soccer field.
Well, anybody can go
to
SpaceX.com.
That's how high it is. And they're building... I think this is the last... It may be the last launch of this version of Starship.
Right.
They're making a bigger version.
Yes. What do they call that? It's not 2.0. What do they?
I think it's 2.0, isn't it? No,
I think they had a new name for it.
Version
Marcus
2?
House or somebody else. What about it? Might have given it a name and it stuck in my head, and then it's gone, Jim. It's gone like most things in life. Well, gone like your band memories.
That's my mind. Yeah, Bobby, I still don't remember doing Tidewater.
I heard all the stories, Bobby. Jim's been channeling the angst of Bob, who's not happy with the way things went. And we're spending a little time because who you are is definitely a product of where you have been in your musical journey. And that journey involved being in a band with your brother, Bob. So shout out to Bob. Yeah. You guys have a lot of good memories together.
Yeah, and he made a lot of good songs. He's got a lot of good songs. Matter of fact, go to Janet Sampson.
The link is right below on our Jim and Terry show.
Go there, hit on it. You're going to be pleased. He's got a beautiful voice. He wrote those songs, all of those songs. Most of them are played on an acoustic guitar and slapping a thigh. That's what most of it is made on, and I can't do that.
I'm glad he got it out before, technology passed him or mind fails or whatever. He's got all this music.
Yeah. So it's out there. Janet Sampson, his band is Sleeping on the Moon, and that's him. He's the band. And shut out, Bob. Okay, now back to SpaceX. So SpaceX has made a lot of changes since the last flight.
Okay, let's go over some of them. We see now, and I'm showing you the screen because we got the SpaceX website on one of our monitors, and it has a hot staging ring. So why is that different, or what's the plan for that?
Well, the last one had the hot staging, and it worked. But what happened is when the rocket was coming back, it rattled loose and caused, it flew off. So what happened is, if it just flows off, all the computers are still set for that weight. It weighs 20,000 pounds. That ring, that little ring, weighs 20,000 pounds. So the computer, that's why, remember, it started doing wobbling. What the hell, what's happening? And that's why. So they thought, I think they're going to develop a way to keep the ring on, but for this next flight, they're just going to jettison it. And let the computer just monitor the landing of the rocket without that 20,000 pounds.
Tell me about the landing. Is it both pieces they are going to try to simulate in a...
I believe so, but only the bottom one. They're going to sync it with the tower. And folks, if you want to see a treat...
When you say sync, you mean SYNC, the two things happening at the same time.
The two things happening at the same time. See, the rocket's going to be virtually landing on a virtual tower out in the ocean. There is no tower.
It's going to be at a safe space in the ocean, already designated. But while it's doing this landing, what's happening at Boca Chica?
The tower is going to be thinking it's actually catching it. So it's going to go through the motions of receiving this rocket.
And when you say received, you mean those big arms.
And those big arms, folks, if you're looking at pictures and go, don't look all that big. Those big arms would take each arm, you could line up 3 full-size school buses down each of those arms. So that's how big those arms are. So just think about that. I guess a good 90 feet out. No, it'd be more than that, 120, something like that. I don't know what they are.
The size is incredible, but what's amazing to me is that all of this is attached to a tower that's taller than the rocket.
Yeah.
But that weight is being caught by those the tower.
The
it's got
tower's
4 piers, and the arms go up and down on pulleys that are used in drilling rigs offshore.
Rigs,
and this is going to work?
Well, this is, I think the thing is this. I think the FAA or whatever they are, the AAF, I forget, the people that license your tanks out want to know if this can actually work. So they're going to go through the motions. So it doesn't have to work perfectly, but they want to show that it can be done.
So are we going to be getting a split screen then on this IFT4 where we're actually going? Somebody's going to be out in the ocean to watch.
Oh no, I doubt if we're going to see that. It's too dangerous because you'd have to have a boat, unless they have that jet fly around and take pictures of it.
Some kind of drone.
Or some kind of drone. Well, I think it's only 19 miles off the shore.
Okay,
it's not way out in the middle. It's just the Gulf of Mexico. So I think that's what it was. The other one landed 300 because it went nuts.
Yes.
So it went nuts because it lost the staging ring.
Right.
It fell off and threw all the measurements off. This time they're going to genocide.
Okay, so you're saying the simulation is for the booster.
The booster is going to simulate landing at a tower, but there will be no tower. It's just going to drop into the ocean.
For the spaceship.
The spaceship, I think, is going to simulate landing in the ocean too,
but not with the arms.
Yeah, I think they can only do one at a time here.
Okay.
Now remember,
there's a second tower coming.
There's a second tower coming, and another one down in Florida. The other thing is most rockets that are going to go up aren't coming right back. They're going up and they're doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're going to be orbiting the Earth for days maybe before they decide to come back. So I think it's going to try to flip it and land it in the ocean. And for our confused audience, there's 2 parts of this rocket. One is the booster, and the other is the Starship. The Starship can comfortably hold 100 astronauts. That's the Starship. And the most we can send up right now is 7, and not comfortably. This is walking around, having a kitchen, floating, having an entertainer. 100 people can go up in the rocket when it's ready to be used for people. So they've also added to the rocket. They've added more vents for rotating and stuff like that. So there's more hot air, cold air vents for rotating. They've added more of them. The problem what happened with the last rocket is crystals formed. They got to find a way to stop the crystals from forming, and they blocked the filters. So that's what happened with the last one.
So they couldn't control it and stabilize the roll.
Yeah, they couldn't, and it might have been the Starship itself as well. Remember, it was flipping, going like this. Some of the filters were plugged.
Interesting.
And that'd be ice, probably ice.
Interesting. So whatever they're using, I thought it was fuel based, but it's not. It's hot air. So
for the jets.
For the jets.
Well.
Compressed gas.
I know they're either thinking of this or they're going to do it. The fuel they use turns to gas. That's why you see all the venting. They were thinking, why not use that? I think that was the everyday astronaut suggested that to Elon and said, that's not a bad idea. Why not? So I don't know if that's what they're using now or not to roll it. And we should be able to see that. I would think the vent, you could see it in space.
Those nozzles have to be facing different directions in order to control the pitch and yaw and roll.
Yeah, all of that. And it's very complicated. It's way more than what we see. I mean, the engines and everything, they have fuel rotating around those bells and everything else so that they're not subject to shock when an engine turns on. They won't shatter.
Because
it's
you
on
got
and
this
on and on.
temperatures of space for an unused engine, and then you're going to blast fuel through the nozzle.
Yeah.
They
just break it.
Just break it, crack it.
So on and on it goes.
On and on and on. But okay, so there are the arms, and you're saying that is 3 school buses long.
Yeah.
If you go to SpaceX.com, you can see the Starship and click on it, and that's what we are looking at. The image is under Starship capabilities. It shows you the tower.
The little stand it's on is 85 feet above the ground.
That's 85 feet. And how much is below the ground? When
100.
we saw them drilling.
I think it's 100 feet into the ground.
I still can't believe that this thing
Yeah.
is going to be able to catch that thing
And
without
put it,
going,
Yeah,
you know,
and-
my Lego set would
Yeah,
break
yeah.
if I ever tried to do this
and
with
put
my
it
Lego.
back on that stand.
And put it back
Well,
on the
actually,
stand.
maybe not. Maybe it's going to go on. I mean, that's the idea, to refuel it. Eventually, to just swing it over, put it back.
And refuel it right there.
And refuel it so it can go off within like half a day.
Now, we're looking at a section which is also supposed to be on this test as well, which is fuel transfer.
Yeah, they're pretty.
They did it.
They did
not,
it.
on the
Yeah, so I guess
IFT3?
they're going to do it to a greater degree this time.
Right.
They want to make sure they can flow it, because a trip even to the moon will take maybe 4 or 6 rockets
Of those completely filled with fuel.
filled with fuel to transfer over to the Starship, which is huge, bigger than like 747. It'd be like putting a 747 on top of a stick. It's that big.
And what we are seeing in this simulation here, a 3D animation on SpaceX.com vehicles, is the refueling configuration, where one is a Starship, which is going to go from there to the moon, and the other is the fueling tank, and they'll need several of these things to be lifted
Which
into
will go
orbit
back
and
to
be
base
to
to be filled
refueled
again.
Unbelievable. So there's no waste at all in this process.
Right now, the only thing that is it's disposable is the staging ring between the booster
And that's
the
only
Starship.
disposable because they think it's the problem and they want to test it.
Yeah, they got to find a way to secure it better, and they're not going to take the time now to do that.
Now, other
Best
rockets
just let it go.
Other rockets have had hot staging rings, but none of them have ever done this.
None of them come back. They all drop
No,
into the ocean.
that's
That's
right.
why people get upset. Oh, he's dropping it in the ocean. He's going to eliminate that process.
Yeah.
And if he's going to eliminate that process, everybody following him is going to eliminate it. Right now, other than SpaceX, everybody else's falls into the ocean, including NASA.
Now, I was going
NASA.
to NASA. I'd like to go
Yeah,
there.
NASA.
There's one other thing that's going on at the Boca Chica, which is another large bay. Did
Another
you know
one?
that?
No, another one?
Yes,
Oh, my
another one.
goodness.
So I got a feeling what we are seeing at Boca Chica is going to be the rocket factory. It is just, there's too many iterations now. I forgot what Starship they're up to. It's amazing to watch. I hope you get the passion that Jim and I have, and I hope you can sense it in our voices. We're ready to rock and roll, and whatever day of the week it is, if we could, outside of sitting in a hobbit hole for the whole day waiting for it to go, because there's no schedule. It's just, does it happen or not? Jim and Terry Show, impressed by things SpaceX and things out of this world. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.